Flowing ad budget on metrics that look great till the CFO sees them. That's bull spend. And marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
I remember telling my boss, it'll be good for the brand, when leads were slow. Yeah, it wasn't.
Cut the bull spend. LinkedIn lets you target by company, job title, and more. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
This podcast is part of E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience.
David Housel described it best. We are living the whole of the Auburn experience. You can quantify it, you can qualify it through a variety of methods: time, people, places, and things. But at its heart and at its core, the Auburn experience is all about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, and Auburn family. The easy way to say it, though, is if it's orange and blue, it is what we do. So thank you so much for joining us and what we're going to be doing for episode 176 of the Auburn Experience podcast. As always, I'm your one of the co-hosts, Kyle, the sunshine pumping guy that I'm going to start calling myself more regularly just because I want to wear that as a badge of honor for all the grumpy people out there, although I'm probably a grumpy person too. The other co-host, who is fresh off of his flight of Colorado, going out there to do some recruiting for Auburn football. That's what I was told, at least. Mr. Austin Scott, welcome back, sir.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here. War Eagle to you, War Eagle to our viewers and listeners. We are, I'm going to let's close the door real quick.
We're good. Hey, listen, it's all part of the ambiance here at the show at this point.
Somebody was getting in trouble, I think.
And hey, thankfully it wasn't you tonight. That's the good thing.
Not me. But happy to be here. Yes, fresh off a trip to Colorado. Whole family went a different land of orange and blue with Auburn flair. Yeah. So that was fun. We had a good time, just a short trip. At last check, there's not a lot of publicity out there, so I'll just say we were happy to celebrate and the engagement of an Auburn couple, and so we're happy. Yep, we're happy to be out there for that. Took the whole family out there.
I'm with you now. Yeah.
Took the whole family out there and got to hang out for a little bit on secret mission for a day or two, and then got to celebrate and surprise the couple after all was said and done. It's got a couple War Eagle moments out there too, so it couldn't be even better. But there'll be more details when I feel like I can for sure share this. By the time this goes out tomorrow, I'll probably be fine.
I was about to say, you're kind of running it.
No, we're good.
Operation.
If you know me, you probably know, but we're good. We're good.
Well, congratulations to whoever you are in the
an Auburn man and woman for sure.
Auburn man and woman being engaged. That's always a good thing out there. Did you by chance run into good old Prime while you're out there? And
no Prime, no Jarrett Stidham, no Bo Nix, none of the sorts. But like I said, 2-3 Auburn War Eagle moments I can think of off the top of my head. One took me by total surprise. We were out in like little mountain town and just walked right.
Aren't they all little mountain towns in Colorado?
Well, yes, but this one like specifically a little cute mountain town. So yeah, but it was a good trip, and it's always fun to see the Auburn people in the wild.
And it wasn't like a awkward Auburn moment where like the person like barely recognizes that you even said it to them, or worse, doesn't say it back.
Two were they saw me first, so I was caught off guard. So it was good. It was like someone else taking initiative, but the one was from me, and they were like, yes, it was very well reciprocated.
Okay, that's always I like to hear, and that's encouraging to hear out in spaces that aren't as close to Auburn. I've had some of these bad moments like in Georgia, just next door, and people are like, "Excuse me, what?" And I'm like, hey, "Why are you wearing these items if you don't know the shtick? Yeah. Like, don't let this got to know what's going to happen if you wear the Auburn gear, because we're all Auburn family. We're going to say hello in that manner to each other." Yes. Good old Colorado. I really do wish though that you had an opportunity to see Bo Nix out there in the wild and see if you could get an official War Eagle out of him. What's funny to me, Austin? The amount of like non-Auburn fans that think somehow that he is no longer part of like the Auburn story or things like that. It's
a very weird thing.
It is like, let's just go ahead and use this number one qualifier. he graduated before he left. Like that right
Yeah.
there in and of itself is like okay, there's your stamp of approval if you need anything. Not to say that if you're not graduated from Auburn, you're not part of the family, but that's just kind of like, well, he chose to graduate before he left. So I just find that interesting that somehow just because he went and had to go do the right thing, let's all admit it was the right thing at this point for him to go out there and have some success at Oregon. And now that he's
Certainly
back,
worked out.
it certainly did. Didn't really work out for us. Some would say it didn't have to be this way, but apparently it did. I know that's not really related that much to that part of it, but
Well, it's
tertiarily,
it's funny you mentioned that, and we're going on a bit of a tangent here because
that's what this is for.
Yeah. We're on the way back today, and I think, which I wasn't going to bring this up just out of spite, but I think there was a certain subset of fans that were maybe had left Omaha early and were rerouted through Denver back to Birmingham because the plane ride was quite full of them. But I was listening to a conversation in front of me today, and the one gentleman was from California, the other was from somewhere in the state, and they were talking about, like, the gentleman from California was like talking about the players he was more of an NFL guy, the players he likes from that played at Alabama to this guy. And the guy from Alabama is rattling off the players like in the NFL. And he mentions, like, the third person he mentions is Jalen Hurts. And I was like, now, wait a minute. Because
wait a minute.
We're a double standard here when Auburn people try to praise Bo Nix. But
yeah, like that's
whatever.
Look, Jalen Hurts is a great example of multiple fan bases. Like, I think he's a quality, from what I can tell, quality quarterback, quality human being, all that stuff.
Yeah,
that's it's a little bit double standard there.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, that's the third one. And, like, look, to the credit, there's plenty you could name. But I was like, we're going third on the list of active players, and you ran him out of town? Okay, yeah. But, yeah, anyway, I just thought that was interesting while also thinking about being in Denver with Bo Nix.
Yeah, well, here, quick aside before my thing. Do you think any people from the state of Mississippi had any trouble with their travel arrangements? Like, were there any griping about finding hotels and then having to rearrange their schedules and go great distances and stuff since they had to leave early?
I hope for their sake the time they spent in Opelika having to get to Plainsman Park prepared them.
Tough. And
so they were okay staying a little further outside of Omaha because now they're closer to get back home because they got to go home today. So yeah. I hope that's okay with them. Look, not, I think we've talked about this before. It feels like Auburn people and Troy people have a good bit in common. Claps to them. Congrats. I was certainly pulling for them today. So good for them. And hotty toddy all the way home.
Who is Toddy and why is he hotty? Like I that's every time I see an Ole Miss person, that's what I ask. Like, who is Toddy and why is he hotty? Like,
the problem here, Kyle, is that the Ole Miss Landshark Black Bear fan base has a certain reputation about them.
What would that be, Austin?
It has to it has to do with they stay well hydrated. And so the things they scream just don't make sense. And you just got to know, even if you ask for an explanation, they might be well hydrated and they can't explain it to you anyway. So
hey, listen,
they don't make a lot of sense.
Their mascot, some of their, math skills about distances and things seem to struggle.
We've gone so far down beaten paths over here, but I have to tell you one more thing that was from the Super Regional last week. There was an old gentleman a couple rows behind me at the first Ole Miss game. And, it's not uncommon to do for Ole Miss people, or particular to them. It's a baseball thing, but there was a large contingent next to us of the Ole Miss crowd where the tickets were, I guess. And, the two strikes thing, they're all clapping and the slow clap. And every time right before they started it, there was an older gentleman, elderly, and he would stand up every time and say, "Clap if you love Lane Kiffin." And then they just start the slow clap. And for a night that just didn't go well, it killed me every time. He got a lot of laughs. Not from that crowd, but from ours.
I hate that I wasn't on that side of the stadium because I didn't recall hearing that over there. It was a very full, very loud stadium. So that's a good good little moment in the midst of what wasn't great. But hey, Troy got revenge for us.
They did.
You know, some would say that maybe it makes us look worse that they didn't go further. But hey,
Nah.
listen, who cares at this point? All right, I just have one quick call to action for our audience before we gear up here for the main content of the show. So we're officially in Auburn summer, folks. Like it technically has already begun, but as the sports start whittling down, we kind of say it's unofficially started, but we are officially here. All Auburn sports programs are done for the athletic calendar year, which means that lots of the content creators now will start switching into, hey, we got Mount Rushmores, we got top 10 lists, all those things. Like now, we have always done these Mount Rushmore lists. We're trying to come up with the ultimate Mount Rushmore. We have already started that series. We're going to be doing some more this summer. So before I ask a suggestion of you all, go make sure you look at the ones that we've done. If I can remember, we're trying to get to the ultimate Auburn Mount Rushmore and do it in subtopics. We've done Auburn quarterbacks, Auburn basketball guards, Auburn baseball pitchers, Auburn academic buildings, Auburn football running backs. I think that is all of them, Austin. Am I correct in that? That sounds right.
That sounds right. I feel like I thought there was another non-person one, but it might be something we've just talked about.
It's been a minute since we did one of these, probably since last summer. So what we want to know from you all is which ones do you want us to tackle next? I mean, it can be very niche too, because our thought process is sometimes this is just, what's your Auburn Mount Rushmore? People only think of sports. We're trying to get to the ultimate, but we got to talk about all different elements of it, so we appreciate that. So if there's a certain subset even with a sport or a non-sports Auburn topic that you want us to do an Auburn Mount Rushmore of, Timber's Corner Flavors. I mean, that's, we could do that one. Just let us know. We like to do content that y'all are interested in as well. So we always want to get feedback from you, especially as we enter the good old Auburn summer months.
This episode is brought to you by San Pellegrino Ciao. A gift from Italy to your home. San Pellegrino Ciao is a flavored sparkling water made with real fruit juice, finished with a pinch of Sicilian salt for a perfectly balanced taste. So which flavor will you choose? Peach, lime, blood orange, cherry, or maybe the all-new limoncello? Crafted in Italy with 0 grams of added sugar. San Pellegrino Ciao. Buy it now.
Comcast is delivering extraordinary experiences in live sports. Through the incredible broadcast and storytelling from NBC, innovative and personalized viewing features on Xfinity and Peacock, and the country's most reliable Wi-Fi, viewers can enjoy every game-changing play faster and more seamlessly than ever. All on a network built to deliver unforgettable moments as close to live as possible. The ultimate experience for the American sports fan. Learn more at ComcastCorporation.com/sports.
All right, main stuff tonight. We're going to always start you off with Auburn potpourri, and as is usual, there is plenty of good things to talk about. Now, before we talk about this is a good thing, but it's also the thing that we secretly wish wouldn't happen is that people would leave us early, but we like to see them have success. If you heard the news this week, one Jackson Coyven decided that he would officially turn pro, put out a lovely little goodbye letter and video thanking the Auburn family and everybody else that he's been involved with, his teammates and stuff. And the legend that has been Jackson Coyven will continue on in history, but will continue on officially in the pros. And so here we sit, Austin. We just watched probably Auburn men's golf most important figure ever. I think we talked about that last week. It's fair to say that at this point, people are already throwing him up on Mount Rushmores. Well, he's gone. So how are we feeling? Are we? I know there's sadness, but like, where are you at in processing the fact that you don't get to watch Jackson Coyven in Auburn gear again?
Yeah, well, like I said, I was with my whole family this week, or my side of the family this weekend, and it was posted. Well, it was pretty early. We were an hour behind, but it was pretty early in the morning. And so I, went upstairs and talked with the rest of the family. I said, "Everybody see this?" The general consensus was not surprised. I don't think anyone was. It was a question last year, and I don't think anyone would have really been surprised with how high regarded he was thought of last year if he would skip the rest of his collegiate career and go ahead and go on the tour. But he did come back, and he accomplished everything you would want to accomplish once again. And so one more year in college, like we said last week, how much would it help him? What good would it do for him unless he just really wants to be a 4-year guy? And we got our question answered just with him now choosing to go on the tour. Not a bad way to go out. You go out on top. You as a team, certainly as an individual again, and all the ways that he's rewritten the history books, from the amount of times he's won certain awards, from the amount of times he's won tournaments and individual championships, and then also obviously 2 national championships. Not much else he can do, right? And so it's not surprising.
He could win a third.
Sure.
He could, all these things he could do the third time. That would be something.
Yes, but not many things he can do for the first time again. And so I think
he got one this week, Golf Week Player of the Year for the first time, which was ironic. That's took him that long to do that, but go ahead.
It is ironic, but not surprised. He's going to do very well for himself. And I think we're all really excited to latch on and follow his professional career, and see how many wins he gets, how much money he makes, and what's next for Jackson Coyven. I think, like you said, there's a lot of people go ahead and throwing him in on some Mount Rushmores. I think you could make a case. That's certainly fine. Sure. You and I have also always said there should be an element to how you do post Auburn and professionally. I think it would have to be pretty poor to negate what he's already done at Auburn. So we'll have to see, but it's exciting nonetheless. And what an ambassador he's about to be on the PGA Tour for Auburn.
Yeah, and listen, I think it's a fair question for people to ask about the Mount Rushmore situation with him, given what he accomplished here as an individual, but with his team. But I do think, even adding to what you said, there's a recency bias that we need to hold up for just a second and let things play out. Now, to your future talk about him, I'm going to be honest with you, Austin. I'm not a big golf person outside of Auburn men's and women's golf, but I'm going to try to do better because of Jackson Coyven, because it feels like we got a reason to follow someone's career path from its start. And I've already written it down, even our notes that I keep, that July 2nd through the 4th, John Deere Invite is your pro debut for Jackson Coyven. Now, I don't know if you can watch it or anything. I am a golf novice outside of the collegiate golf stuff, and I'm still a novice there. So this maybe is a good jumping on point for folks that maybe don't appreciate the sport or are just kind of like, I'll support it if it's Auburn here, but this is a good chance for you to follow someone that clearly has a bright future. I mean, even Justin Thomas, the pro who's an Alabama ties, has talked about how much he's impressed by Jackson Coyven. So follow along and see what you can, gather from following at least an Auburn story in that sense, at least in the pro situation. But, certainly I think we all saw this coming. We all knew that this was the likely outcome, and I would have been very surprising had he decided to stay for that 4th and final year. And so it makes a lot of sense, even if you don't want it to make a lot of sense, for Jackson Coyven deciding to forego that 4th year and senior year, and his Auburn legacy is cemented here with what he's been able to accomplish. As kind of a sidebar to this, we talk about the good things and the bad. Let's get all the bad stuff out of the way. Did you see the snub this week? What is up with that? Context. Nick Kleiner was snubbed as coach of the year. What's going on with that, Austin?
It's pretty absurd. I think in a pretty shocking move. I don't remember the association. It's the National Golf Association or who exactly is the governing body?
They don't need to be any type of association after that mess up.
It's let's see, the Golf Coaches Association of America. They're like the big name, I guess, that gives out their Coach of the Year awards, and evidently chose the Virginia head coach as Coach of the Year.
What did they even do
over Nick Kleiner? Look, I read some context on it, try and figure out any kind of reasoning. I like to try to give the devil's advocate and just see what the reasoning was, and all I can come up with is that they were picked high and mighty, very much preseason, a lot of seniors coming back. And they did not live up to the standard. And I think a lot of people were trying to save face by deciding to give him Coach of the Year. They certainly had a good year, but they got blitzed when it came to stroke play. Auburn destroyed them with the rest of the crowd as well. It makes no sense when you think about too how many seniors they had versus Coach Kleiner's group of juniors and freshmen. Essentially, sure, he had the best player on the planet. But my goodness, it's an absolute snub, and it's certainly one that got notoriety and attention, not just in Auburn, but around the golf community.
Well, and it says a lot when your athletic director feels compelled to write out a letter publicly, put it out on social media to, show us. And then you'd like to see that, right? Show the support for his head coach. And he said as much. He said as much at the celebration that I think he kind of said it tongue in cheek, thinking, "Oh, there's no way they'll snub him," but they went and did it. Listen, I know that our coach isn't the everybody's got a good coach and everybody's done other great things as well. But I think there's just so much context lacking in this decision. It's clear, I think, that should have been the coach of the year. But hey, listen, I know we've got our orange and blue glasses on, but obviously, Coach Kleinard, you're the coach of the year to us, and always will be, frankly. But outside of that, just wanted to at least talk about it a little bit. Here's some good things. Once again, I continue to laugh in the face of every single silly representative of our fan base that says there's nothing good happening, that athletic directors need to be fired. Listen, we can always have those conversations about where things can be improved, but you are just being ignorant. If you are not paying attention to the great things that are going on. Track and field NCAA championships. The quick overview, the men, I think, finished 6th overall. So they've kind of slid back a little bit from almost winning the whole thing. I think they got like 3rd the next outdoor season and then 4th last year, 6th. But, track and field's a highly competitive sport. And if you're in the top, pushing for the top 5, top 10 consistently, that's saying something for you.
Also, let's look at those standings, because as Kyle and I tell you, almost every single sport, Auburn finishes 6th in the country at the Outdoor Track and Field Nationals, 5th in the SEC. So look, that's what they're up against. Yeah. And the only other one was the host, Oregon, who's tracked down USA. So just unbelievable. And so, like you said, there's lots of good that came of it. Nothing to be upset about, but it shows you, though, what the expectations is and what Auburn people expect with Coach Leroy Burrell to be higher than that, and still with all these accomplishments, just how hard it is to get higher than that.
Right. And we want to spend, obviously, a good portion of our time talking about some championships, but I also want to give some acknowledgments to some other things that happened there. Israel Khan got I almost said a bronze, a silver medal in his event. So want to acknowledge that, because that was probably the highest placement outside of this. I want to acknowledge a good, but also a bad with it, because the context, I think, is missing a little bit from, it wasn't in post acknowledging it. But our 4x100 team, if you weren't aware, is pretty dang good. They won the SEC championship. They smoked their preliminary competition, set a record, an NCAA record for that. And you've got a group of 4 guys on there, and I almost had to memorize. I'm going to see if I can pull my list up here. Azim Fahmy, Kain Solajai, Austin Cressley, and Tyler Davis. Those are the last 2 I couldn't remember last week. But an NCAA record in their preliminaries. Great performance. Want to acknowledge that. The problem is they messed the handoff in the and in the finals. And I don't remember, or I didn't do my research enough probably to find out where they were probably going to end up. Certainly, you can never tell. But that shows you the importance of that event and the hands-offs. You can be running great.
It's brutal. Yeah.
And then it's just over with. Jessica, when we used to do the track and field, they said the most nervous she's ever been watching a track and field is when the handoff happens on the relay, when you're passing the baton. So it's a great thing what they accomplished in the preliminaries, and unfortunate way it ended for them. I don't want that to be lost, that we didn't have an opportunity to talk about them. But 2 big things, really 3 big things. Let's keep it on the topic of preliminaries. Mr. Jacoby Tharp decided, you know what, I'm going to get the fireworks started on the preliminaries, just like the 4x100 team did. Not only did he break every record possible collegiately, he decided, you know what, that's not enough. I'm going to set the world record at 12.75 seconds in the 110-meter hurdles for the men, and do that just in preliminaries out there in Eugene, Oregon. I did not have that on my bingo card for that evening, Austin. And I mean, the entire social media just started blowing up with what he was accomplishing. I don't know if you've seen the replay of it. I think he's a very confident guy, but I think even he was shocked with what he did in that world record.
So we were actually out at a restaurant. This would have been Wednesday night, I think, is when it happened.
Sounds right.
We had not left town yet, so I think it was Wednesday night. And both that and the 4x100 record, both those preliminaries were on in the establishment we were in. And Barrett is my sports kid. He's like obsessed with any sport. He's like, what sport is this? And how do you say work? Well, Barrett had never like seen track. He's like, he's just like, what is this? And so he's like, what's that, Daddy? And I said, they're running. Like they're running to see who's the fastest, and they're going to try to win and all these things. We watched a couple like long distance ones. Well, the 4x100 shows up, and they're showing, before they're all getting lined up, they're showing each athlete. They're talking about each team or whatever. And obviously they have a big AU, and he goes, that's Auburn. I said, it is Auburn. And I said, this team is very good, and they're going to run really fast. Like, this is not one where they're going to run a long time. They're going to run fast. And so they, gunshot goes, and he goes, Daddy, they're running fast. I said, they are running fast. He goes, they're running really fast. And then they finished. I said, they're running record time fast, son, is what they're doing. And same with Jacoby Tharp. I said, well, that's the fastest the world's ever seen it, actually.
You just witnessed it, son. Yeah,
you just witnessed the fastest you can do it, the fastest anyone runs. And so we got to see it live. It was really cool to see. And I'll also just witness with my kids. But I had no idea. Obviously, Jacoby Tharp came up. I didn't know the preliminary schedule. And so when he came up, I was like, oh, we're in for a treat. We get to watch it live. And then, like you said, had no idea I was about to see a world record breaking performance. But man, when he crossed it and when he realized it, like you said, his eyes were big, his mouth was on the floor. Like I will never understand what it's like to run that fast ever. I've never have and never will. That's why I'm sitting here. But I think it's fine. Yes, it's all your fault. But man, like I would think he'd be like, that felt good. Like that felt like one of my best ones. And I don't know if it did. Like I think because he was so shocked that he's had to have run that so many times. Yeah. But I guess you just never know when it feels like a world record.
He had to have known that he ran very well.
But like preliminary. Like that one was good, but that
like
good?
It's preliminaries, and it's not that you sandbag, and because you don't want to ever sandbag, because if you do, you might get overtaken.
You never know.
But you wonder, like, man, how do you just hit it, just get off the block so quickly that you didn't even realize how good of a start you got, or however you caught up, or whatever it is. Listen, so here, just some context from USTF CCCA, which is the longest acronym in the United States Track and Field Cross Country. So it doesn't matter. It's all of it. Said Jacoby Tharp of Auburn joined an illustrious club of collegians who held the world record in 110-meter hurdles, or a variation of it, whatever that means. I guess maybe it was longer or shorter.
Sure.
Tharp ran a 12.75 last night in the prelims of D1 championships to trim 0.05 seconds off the previous world record. To me, I think if you just brush over that seems like not a lot, but in such a quick event, to me, that feels like it should be at least I want to overplay things here, but a significant enough margin to kind of go, wow, after that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible what he was able to accomplish.
And I mean, these individual, I'm looking at the same tweet you are. These individuals are not the ones who held it, right? Because the 0.05 does not add up.
Mm-mm.
It would be
variation, but that's why I think where it says variation of it.
Yeah. There's always different timing. Anyway, just unbelievable. And I can't fathom that experience. Like, to know that there's no one in the world has run as fast as you just did on that specific event. It's hard for me to process.
Right. Well, if that wasn't cool enough for you, and that you should just expect at this point, he just won the national championship again for his event, 110-meter hurdles.
Yeah.
He got a measly 12.9,
slow,
which would have, I think, if I'm not correct, said that it would have broken the world or the previous.
It would have broken the previous collegiate record. Both he and the runner-up would have broken it if he hadn't just done it.
That is just insane that he did that in the preliminaries, then just followed up with a great run that would have already broken a separate record.
So now he's got the top two in collegiate.
That's just wild. So I guess the question you need to ask then, like, what happens? Like, when does his record fall? When, if ever? Just think about that. Auburn may hold an Auburn runner. He's the runner, right? But they in their association with him may hold a record for years. Potentially. I don't know. It's really cool. Not to be outdone, his teammate, Kainsola Ajayi, also won his event, a championship, which he's also, listen, Jacoby Tharp's certainly been the guy that's been talked about a lot, very similar to the Jackson Coyvin story, but there are other guys on this team, other ladies as well, that you need to be aware of. Ajayi is certainly one of those in the 100-meter, drops a 9.72. Just absolutely outstanding with his performance. He's obviously part of the relay team as well, was part of the reason that they set a record in their preliminaries. Won't go back about what happened after that, but just listen, Auburn track and field has been in a really good position across the board, but especially for the men since Coach Leroy Burrell has arrived. And it just, I wondered what they could do next. They just said, we'll just go set world records at this point. So it feels good to be, if you're not following Auburn track and field right now, you should definitely be doing that. I know it's just ended. They were the last thing to get done every single year, but the Olympics will be around soon. And you're certainly going to be seeing names like these, like Jacoby Tharp, like Ajayi, everybody else who's going to be wearing the orange and blue right now, but wearing it on something else on the bigger stages when that time comes around. But congrats to all of them.
If we knew more about our sleep, what would we do differently? Would we go to bed at a consistent time or take steps to reduce interruptions to our sleep? With Sleep Score, Apple Watch measures your bedtime consistency, interruptions, and sleep duration. Then, every morning it combines these factors into an easy-to-understand score from 1 to 100. So you'll know how to take the quality of your sleep from okay to very high. Know your sleep score with Apple Watch. iPhone 11 or later required.
This episode is brought to you by Fox One. Watch all 104 matches of the FIFA World Cup live in 4K for just $19.99 a month with 3 days free. Build your own multi-view, choose up to 3 streams, and follow player spotlights. Stay on top of every moment with live stats, highlights, and instant replays. The FIFA World Cup, streaming live on Fox One. Offers are subject to change. See fox.com for complete terms and conditions.
Some football news for us to round out our potpourri this evening. We have got some commitments that we need to talk about, and we'll have to do a good job of staying on point here, but we need to talk about them because a lot happened this week. The first one this week that came rolling through was a 4-star, at least. There I go, just reading tweets. You know, with the stars thing just always irks me. Like everybody's got a different star thing like that. Doesn't matter. The first one edition this week, an edge rusher for Auburn, Ryan Jackson, committed to Auburn. 6'4", 220 pounds, roughly, depending on where you look. This one is another one of those that can be, it was Auburn or Virginia Tech. Feels like Auburn and Virginia Tech, every time they go up against something, Auburn wins. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong in that. But that was the first one of this week to get started. A nice little addition to the defense. It felt like for a while there, Austin, the offense was taking all of the excitement of the recruiting process. But adding Ryan Jackson certainly helps the excitement for them right now.
It does, and it's a edge rusher, a defensive recruit from the state of Maryland for DJ Durkin. So just add him to the list, and if that continues a pipeline up there, and it's continued to work out well. So he becomes the latest from Maryland to join the Tigers, and it certainly, look, DJ Durkin's got his guys, and we'll talk about another one here in a minute. But if he's finding guys like this and they're wanting to play for him, they probably know what they're in for.
How long can they exploit that area of, like, when does the influence that DJ has or the connections have like run out? Like, it just feels like we keep pulling from the DMV or the District of Columbia, Virginia, Maryland.
We attribute it to DJ Durkin, and rightfully so, because he spent time there. But I think the more you add, the more Auburn gear you see, the more people follow the kids that they know, or the kids they've heard about or grew up watching at the high school stadium. And so as they continue to find success in the DMV area, I think you're going to continue to, was that wrong?
No, DMV, just, it's every time I see that acronym, I just chuckle, Department of Motor Vehicles, all that. Yes. You know what my mind goes to is Zootopia the Sloth, but anyway, you're letting me divert us to places.
I know. Well, you chuckled. And so, yeah, I mean, I think the more you see it, it becomes less of a DJ Durkin thing and more of just an Auburn thing. There becomes a little pod up there of orange and blue, And if guys continue to have success, they're ambassadors for Auburn in that area, and you see guys continue to come. So hopefully it happens for a long time.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point you bring up there. Certainly, you want to give the thanks to DJ for his influence up there, but you're right. The Auburn's been pulling from that area for quite a while now, so it's just everybody's getting more connected with the program and seeing the success some of those players are having at this point coming up there. So edge rusher, you never know. We might be talking about Ryan Jackson as the next Keldrick Falk or Keyron Crawford or what have you, whatever position he ends up playing when he gets here is certainly considered to be an edge rusher right now for the time being. Number 2 on the week, at least for this particular week for Auburn football recruiting. And this one, I saw this name come up, Austin. I thought, I wonder if he's any relation to the Ramsier sisters of soccer. It seems like it's been a little bit since their time, so I highly doubt it, but that's just the name. When I saw the Ramsier name come up, I was like, that's where my mind went. Offensive lineman. Most people have him as an interior offensive lineman. Reed Ramsier commits to Auburn, depending on where you look. One site has him at 6'5", 290 pounds. Decides to pick Auburn. Some people thought maybe Texas was the team to beat there. Auburn gets the win there and adds them for now to the 2027 class. There's a lot of people getting excited about this offensive line recruiting class, Austin.
Yeah, they're stacking them up, it seems like. And like we say here frequently, you can't have enough. And it's always good to make sure that you place an emphasis on that, as we have seen many times over the last decade. And as you've heard Kyle and I talk about many times over the last few years. So good to see a hot spot in the state of Florida, somewhere maybe not as frequented, but somewhere we've always seen Auburn needs to place a high emphasis on and can usually find a lot of talent. So Reed Ramsier, a top target, decides to join the Tigers for now, and hopefully that sticks, and hopefully we're talking about him maybe as one of those key offensive linemen that helped turn this Auburn offense around.
Yeah, you brought up the whole Orlando, Florida situation, which is where he's from. It does feel like Auburn pulls more from the Panhandle, or even for a while there into the deep part of down in the Miami area. But they have had some success at times going down there. It just feels like at times that the central part is not a place that they've been able to work their way into. But you got to think this is certainly one where a relationship was probably built with Coach Golish, having previously been at USF and not being super far from them at this point. But interior offensive linemen, they're starting to really fill out that group. And there's a lot of people talking about the hype around this one. I'm really excited to see what this first full offensive line class for Coach Golish can look like once we, maybe not this year, but a year after that, if they can all stay together and work and fill a pretty good depth chart. After that, number 3 on the week, this one brand new as of today on this Sunday we're broadcasting. We've got to talk about commitment. Nate Kamba. I almost wanted to say Kamba, but is it Kamba? How would you?
My gut would have said Kamba too, but I do not know if we're correct or not.
But hey, listen, it's a pretty cool name. I can't say I've ever seen. I've had Kamba come through or whichever. I'm going to say it 5 different ways at this point. Defensive lineman, a big defensive lineman that was added for Auburn in this 2027 class. Roughly 6'4", 305 pounds. Auburn, South Carolina, looks like Georgia, Ohio State. A lot of people were saying, even in our group chat on Discord, that this was a big loss for Kirby Smart and celebrating that. Either way, you got to love seeing not following up an offensive lineman with an interior offensive lineman with a interior defensive lineman, because that's what he even lists on his personally. They said defensive tackle. We'll see what he does when he gets here. But with 305, you got to think that's an interior defensive lineman if I've ever seen one.
That's a big boy. Yep. And from another 3 different states for 3 different recruits from the Charlotte, North Carolina area. That's pretty good to hear. Pretty fun. So really cool to see. Sounds like a big boy that Vontrell King Williams is excited about. DJ Durkin find a hole in the plug in that middle defensive line area. Yeah. Exciting. I think, we've said many times before, if you're new to this podcast, you have maybe not heard this. We are not big into the recruiting specs and following it super airtight until these guys sign the dotted line, and then maybe some after. But it looks like this class is looking pretty good for a first-year staff going into their first year so far. So a lot of momentum, a lot of excitement, and you got to hope that maybe Auburn has some success on the field this year, and you see what else could happen.
Certainly. It looks very exciting right now with this latest edition, and still probably many more to come on that front. But you got to feel good about this week with filling out some of those lines, offensive and defensively, in this one interior defensive line, as you said, coming from the state of North Carolina. Not a place that Auburn goes a whole lot, but basically they're just going down the coast right now. They've been in Virginia, Maryland. They've been in North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, and obviously the traditional states of Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, and even I think Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken. They're working their way through the entire Southeast and more, and taking over at this point in this particular class. All right, let's get into our main topics. Really late this show, but we got to spend some time on what was an amazing week for Auburn. The athletic calendar year at the time, at least for the home portion of it, the track and field hadn't happened at that point, was complete, but that didn't mean the fun was ending on Auburn University's campus. We had an event of a global scale. Yes, you all know that the World Cup is happening. And while Auburn may not have a direct tie to that anyway, not having a men's program or anything like that, they do have a men's club team. If you ever want to, follow them and support them on social media. But they had this little thing that they decided to schedule in Jordan-Hare when they started deciding they were going to host events there. Argentina versus Iceland. Argentina's in the World Cup, Iceland's not. But there is just this, this name out there. I don't know if you ever heard of him, Austin. Some people talk about him. Some people seem to be pretty excited about him. Lionel Messi decided to come to Auburn. We'll get there. We'll talk about what he was able to accomplish, but certainly that built a lot of hype around all of that. Let's spend some time talking about the build up to this. Austin, the one thing that I think took away from this weekend, or could have done even more, was the rain. Where were you at for the downpour that happened as the fever pitch was starting to get up on campus of the excitement leading toward it?
I was perfectly placed. Backstory. I was going to the game. My father-in-law asked myself, Emily's two brothers, and then my brother-in-law if we wanted to go, and he'd go with us. And we said, yes. Like, I just full transparency. I'm not a soccer person. When it came out, I said, that's cool. I don't know. We'll see ticket prices. And then it was kind of like when he offered, it was like, yes, this is an experience. I'll have too much FOMO if I don't. So it worked out. And so we said, they were coming down to meet us. And right after the boys woke up for their nap, Emily was like, let's go downtown. Let's just drive them through, get them out, and let's see how many people are here, what's it like compared to game day, that kind of thing. So we were driving straight through downtown. We're coming past Tavern on the Tracks. We're coming over the train tracks down College, and we are hitting like the Target. Okay, you're with me on where I am on the road.
Yes, I got the location down.
And I'm like, man, there's a lot of people out here, and it starts sprinkling. I'm like, there's Argentina jerseys everywhere. They're all kind of staying out of the rain. And not like 10 minutes later, I cannot see people anymore because there has been a monsoon that has dropped from the heavens onto the loveliest village on the plains. And every square inch under an awning in downtown Auburn has 14 Messi jerseys inside of it. And so it was nuts. We saw the flooding. I don't know how many people saw videos of the flooding. It was like every weather alert you could get on your phone happened at the same time. But we did a quick just spin around because, there was nothing to see at that point.
Sure.
But my goodness, it was absurd how fast and how heavy that rain came.
Mm-hmm. And I literally thought, this is such bad timing. Like, this is going to make this event feel a little not as epic as it was meant to be. We'll get there. Boy, was I wrong. But that water came down so fast. My brother-in-law, who's a major soccer fan, loves all this stuff. He was coming to town. He called me and warned me, thankfully, because I was literally getting ready to walk across campus to the student center just to go chill out and do some work for a little bit. And because I had like 2 hours before it was even time to go in the stadium. And I didn't get but like past the intersection right there at Mama G's, and I had to run inside I think it's the Louder Graduate Center down at the bottom of that building, and I was stuck there for 2 hours. Like, it was that bad for that long. So epic rainstorm comes through, but it could not match the epicness of this evening. One final note, and I think we should give this shout out. With this rain, one of the concerns was going to be Jordan-Hare in the field. how is it going to be able to handle that? Now, if you knew anything about Jordan-Hare, it's already set up really well to handle monsoons. We've had like Auburn, West Virginia rain game before, and even it was able to handle all that. This is probably to that level a little bit if you saw some of the images from in the stadium of the waterfalls coming down. But redoing of the sod, redoing of the stadium, you never know how that's going to happen. Big shout out to everybody involved in facilities, the crew. Even saw Rhett Hobart, his team out there helping squeegee the grass. Essentially, they had their work cut out of them to get that field ready and playable, because it was I just don't know how they would have managed all that without their help. So big shout out to all of them for that.
Absolutely. Just an incredible job to turn it around like that. Auburn put out a clip actually of Wilson Morgan, who is a friend of mine and works on the turf and facilities group. And he mentioned just how quick they did not see it coming, it being as hard as it was, and all they had to do to get it ready. And they did a phenomenal job. By the time you got in the stadium and the players were warming up, I'm sure there were some wet spots and some brown spots that with that level of water comes, but I think that there was so much praise for how they handled it. They did a great job to create and not let it hurt that atmosphere, like you mentioned.
I think there was one spot in the northeast corner where it just, and that was the spot they were working on when I arrived in there. Still, everybody, all hands on decks, and they certainly.
That's the spot I was thinking of. Yeah.
So, listen, when you have that amount of water in that short amount of time, you're just not going to have everything pristine and perfect. But for what they had to work with time wise, I thought they did an outstanding job. So we'll make sure to do that. And I think, we don't want to harp on the rain part, but it was such an interesting story amongst all of this. I was really excited to see how like Auburn, the town and this campus was going to kind of come alive as the fever pitch toward game time came up. Cause it sounds like it was really doing that. There were people with images and videos coming out of was there a parade that I missed downtown?
I did not see that. I did not see a parade.
Someone said something about a parade, or at least maybe like a drum line that showed up to, cheer on certain teams. So I hate that we didn't get the fullness of that, but we were pretty full with what we got in this game. Just as an overview of the game, 3-0, Argentina beats Iceland. Not to say that it was a foregone conclusion that Argentina was going to win. They were starting their backups, at least some of them, it seemed like, to start off, because we didn't see a particular figure till late. The crowd, though, absolutely outstanding. 88,000 plus, the whole thing's full capacity. Now, just to be frank, you look in anytime there's a sellout, there's always little pockets where some small groups didn't show up. We recognize that, but it was a sellout, and it felt like that. Austin, I literally looked around at one point, and I was several places throughout this, as you know I normally am, and I'm just like, am I like having an out-of-body experience? Or is this football, like actual football, like Auburn football time, and I'm just like not seeing things correctly? Because it felt like that with the energy in that state, at least from my vantage point.
I totally agree. I told Emily I felt more crowded than I usually am at normal Auburn football games. I was sitting, I felt like I was cramped, not like bad, but I just felt like there were so many people. I couldn't like get my phone out of my pocket without like bumping 14 people, and so I was like just gonna take it all in and sit there. That's why I saw your text way later, because I couldn't move. And so it just absolutely slammed. And it felt like there were so many people, just like there to just take it all in, experiencing things for the first time. I think I saw Rhett tweet out, there was like 60 some odd thousand people who never purchased an Auburn athletics event, a ticket before, like ever. And I felt like you could tell there were other countries represented, other people from 40 something states that traveled in for this. And obviously to see Messi, but to experience what this is like. And, just, we talked about the field, but just the crowd and the atmosphere, I think Auburn gave them a pretty good show.
Yeah. And it's first time that I shouldn't say first time. I have been to one MLS game with the Atlanta United. And
it's the highest soccer level I've ever witnessed.
When probably your story is very similar to everybody else that's maybe not a traditional soccer fan, but this is your first experience of it. Not a pro at going to these things. I was like, okay, I kind of get why these are, kind of fun to be at. And listen, a lot of different cultures clashing there and stuff like that. But gosh, they mix so well. And everybody was just there to have a good time. And there was like no stakes to this game. in reality. So it was just all about having fun and enjoying what was happening out there on the field and stuff like that. So listen, I want to thank all the people that showed up to Auburn for the first time, because from my vantage point, it seemed like they even just, made this event even better. And I think that's really cool what you brought up, that stat about how many people purchased a ticket for the first time. Let's just talk about Messi. Okay, listen, we're as far as we know, we're talking about as non-soccer pros here.
Yes.
This is the greatest at this current time soccer player. Am I correct in saying that, Austin? And most
I'm sure there's always a debate, right? But there's always a debate with when you call people the greatest. But I mean, I think it's hard to argue that the impact and popularity he has. If you were there, it's hard to argue it. Certainly, I feel like I saw people weeping just when he was shown on the jumbotron, and so it was very cool to see that. And then obviously he backed it up. I would say when you come in right away and are able to have a chance to score.
Yeah, the full thing here, he doesn't play until like the 70th minute, I feel like it was.
Right. Which, I mean, this is a preseason game.
Right.
So it's understandable.
And other schools where Argentina played, they didn't get to see him play. I'm just saying.
That's right.
We did. So not only was their history made the first, professional soccer goal ever made by one of his teammates earlier in that, the second one comes from Lionel Messi, who's just comes in like 10 seconds. There's a penalty kick set up. He takes it and he just makes it look simple. Like
casual.
To be honest, like from what I know about those situations, it's hard for the goalie that close up you just got to take a guess at this thing, but you're having to take a guess against Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
And by the way, is it Lionel or Lionel? I think it's Lionel.
I heard many things inside the stadium, and I heard in many types of accents and dialects. So yeah. I really don't know, and I don't think you're wrong either way at this point.
Besides that, though, just history abounded throughout this entire thing, culminating with the current greatest of their time, at least, in Lionel Messi scoring that goal. And all phones were out. Everybody. The funniest thing, Austin, every time I would hear a crowd like uproar, I would think it was Lionel coming out. And so finally I took the risk of like going down the back ramps after getting some shots up in the deck and stuff like that. And I heard the biggest roar start. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm going to miss this shot in this video. And I'm like running, trying to get to some opening. I get there. It was like them showing him on the screen. Yeah. And that was it. I'm like,
it was every time he got shown, it was like this crowd roar. Like they could have caught him picking his nose and it would have been just like an uproar. But
that's an image.
Like to your point, when he got up to warm up, and you kind of get the sense he's definitely coming in, and then when he subbed in, the crowd noises were pretty astronomical for something you're not used to seeing in June.
Yeah, it was something, and I had a great time and experience just with that aspect of it alone. You talk about things that people were getting to experience, all the new people there. There was a lot of people that for the very first time got to experience a lot of traditions. Yes, we swag surfed and everybody loved the heck out of it. So I know some of you are not on the swag surf bandwagon. I wouldn't say that I'm on or off it, but it is fully an Auburn thing. Austin, how do we feel about that?
Yeah, it's fine. I'll be honest. I got a lot of chuckles out of some tweets about it. That it might hit a little bit different when one of the greatest of all time is on the field instead of going 3 and out in the fourth quarter. And I you know what? That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. And that's what we've had to deal with. So if you can't laugh at it, you just need to take a break.
You kind of wish that the artist that does swag surf had showed up for this as opposed to another game.
Yeah. What was that? Was that Missouri?
I don't know, man.
I think that was the Missouri Harsin game where they like fumbled it at the goal line. I forgot about that.
I don't know.
I think you're right. I think it was a loss. Like I forgot he showed up for that.
Swag surf happened, but all those people for the very first time there to witness history in Jordan-Hare got to see college athletics greatest tradition, the War Eagle flight. And it was a lovely, beautiful flight by Aria. Outstanding. The Eagle, as people say, Eagle flew good. I mean, just came down from the flagpole out. The only misfire in this situation and what people didn't get to experience, Austin, is the playing of Freebird right before it takes flight. I literally was sitting next to my brother-in-law, and I said, if they don't play Freebird, they're gonna miss this. They're gonna mess this up. And I mean,
it would have been
so
a little bit of injecting some U.S. nationalism into a very international match by playing Leonard Skinner's Freebird, but it would have certainly been a welcome to say this is how we do things. She flew great. She was right above us. I need to send it to you. I got a good video of her flying right over. There is part of the video where I was watching her, and so I left my camera and I went, "Oh, I gotta." I'm not a pro like you. But yeah, she did great. Look, I've said this before. It's very controversial. I was very proud to see that it was a golden eagle that flew. That felt like that showed a lot of Auburn right there. I was pretty proud of that. But she did great. Very cool experience to see. And I was very glad. I guess a lot of people missed the memo that had been confirmed earlier in the week, because I heard a lot of people around.
There wasn't like a
are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? And I feel like it was pretty well known. But
yeah, it wasn't like a big announcement, I think, except for like one from like Rhett and his team putting that out, confirming a question. But I think there was some other acknowledgement of it. But it felt like maybe there should have been a bigger deal made about that. But boy, did it make a big deal and a big impact to the people who'd never seen it before. That was really cool. We don't have time to go into the details of this, but I just want to acknowledge, if you've been following on X, especially the Freddie account of him experiencing America and all that, makes it great being over here on his World Cup tour. He got to experience Auburn, and boy, he had some great things to say about his experience in Auburn. He says he literally tweeted, "There is an eagle flying around the stadium." Like I could hear. I never heard the man speak, but I could just feel and hear like there is literally an eagle flying around the stadium. And like the next tweet should have been, "How cool is this?"
That kid and his buddies are having some kind of event, some kind of experience right now, and that it's one of those fun things that Americans, we just love to. Let's just make a big deal of this, because why not? Then he's the benefactor of it this time.
Southern hospitality is best going on right now with his tour through where he's going, and Auburn was a part of that. So we're glad he stopped by, glad he got to experience the Eagle Flight, swag surf, everything else that Auburn can do and Jordan-Hare can do. What a historic event. I did want us to ask one more question. I think I need to park it for next week, because we have other things that we need to talk about, and I will do that. I'll kind of shift us here to our last major topic, but remind me next time we're together.
Okay.
Follow-up question about soccer in Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Where is Daredevil? I'm right here. Don't miss the return of Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again.
So what's next?
I feel liberated. We're gonna take this city back. Over-medicated. In an all-new season, now streaming only on Disney+.
They're hunting us. It's time we started hunting them.
I can work with that.
This should be tons of fun.
Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again, now streaming only on Disney+.
This episode is brought to you by Perfect Bistro Cat Food. Cats, this ad is for you. Has your human ever called you picky, persnickety, choosy? If so, Perfect Bistro Cat Food is for you. With ingredients like wild-caught tuna and pasture-raised lamb, tantalizing textures, and delectable flavors that meet even the most discerning cat standards. You're not picky, you're just perfectionists. Perfect Bistro, mealtime perfection for every cat. Have your human visit perfectbistro.com.
Football schedule stuff. Now,
Football.
I think I just said it the exact same.
You did.
We've got some schedule stuff for you. One of it is new news. One of it is old news. One of these items we've been putting off because we've been so busy. So let's talk about new news first. And this is probably going to be the most thing that you're wanting us to talk about. We have official TV windows for all 12 football games of the Auburn 2026 season. As a reminder, we've talked about the Baylor game has been set for a long time.
Well,
what?
We have official times for all.
That's fair.
We don't have the time for me to go into that, but I just want to make sure that's clarified.
You're true. Thank you for the clarification. We knew and talked about last week, the first two games were going to be night games. Got us really excited about how this season, even with the Baylor game being moved, how fun that was going to be with 2 night in Florida and who is it? Southern Miss? Sorry, Southern Miss. I know we're just missing you every time we talk about you. Is that?
So well, we won't anymore, because guess what? That's it.
I couldn't even hold him off from talking about it. I was wondering when I was thinking about setting us up to talk about this earlier this week. I was like, how long can Austin hold his like grumpiness out before we get into it? So here we are.
Florida game. What else you want? Nothing. You get nothing.
Let me give you the rundown, and then we'll just let Austin have the floor because I think he's a little bit angry about it, and I am too, thankfully. So. Vanderbilt will be an afternoon game. Now, let me do the full thing so people can have all the information. You can find this tweet. I know. Just let me give the full information. So you now, after the first 3 games will be moved into windows of time. You have an early kickoff, which will be 11 a.m. to 12. You have an afternoon kickoff, which will be 2:30 to 3:30. You have a night kickoff, which is 5 and 7. And you have flexes anywhere from 2:30 to 7.
Flex,
so
joke.
Enjoy it while you got it, Auburn fans, because Vanderbilt will be an afternoon game. It's not the worst thing in the world that could happen. It'll be homecoming, if I remember correctly. So
it's gonna be blazing hot.
It's gonna listen. It's the end of September. We got hope.
Kyle, no,
Austin,
don't you do that.
We have hope.
Don't do that to our people. You and I both know we're gonna be sweating bullets out there.
All right. We'll take a bet right now. What is the temperature at game time for you at that game?
At game time in the afternoon
kickoff.
at the end of September?
Yes.
91.
I'm gonna go.
We should have done higher. We should have done higher or lower.
We should have, but
91. I'll go bold. Say 91.
I'm gonna go 82. I believe
absolutely not. You better hope there's a monsoon that is happening in September 28th.
I didn't say what conditions were going to be there to pull that off. But that's
poor old Governor Ivy's going to be sweating her wig off.
Wow, what an image! Tennessee away game is going to be a flex game, so it could be a night game, but it's not at home. So there's that. Georgia will be an afternoon game in Athens. We have this is where let me just let me skip over that part. I'm gonna skip ahead. Samford, the last home game of the year, will be a 2:30 kickoff. Not even a window; it's a 2:30 kickoff. And then Alabama will be a flex game. Which honestly,
you missed Arkansas though.
Arkansas? Where did I miss?
Yeah, at home. The early game at home.
Well, I said, hold on. We're gonna get to that pocket.
I thought you were just skipping the one.
No, the Samford game, and then Alabama will be a flex game, which we know will be after last year. Basically, can be anything with them doing the night game. I have a feeling it'll be an afternoon game, but I digress. The problem with these TV windows, the problem that every Auburn fan has right now, is those 4 games from LSU, Ole Miss, Arkansas, and Mississippi State. LSU at home, the biggest slap in the face that anybody could ever have to the returning of the Tiger Bowl. Not even a TV window, Austin. An 11 o'clock kickoff on ABC and ESPN. How on earth did this get past someone's desk and become a game time?
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And I don't remember what the other games are, but if you look up that day, it's not like there's a lot of great matchups. And whatever they get, I think they gave Vanderbilt, Kentucky the night game. It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. You got Lane Kiffin coming to Jordan-Hare as part of LSU, but you also just have LSU at Auburn, and it's usually an incredible game. It's a rivalry, and it's absolutely stupid that it's going to be at 11 a.m. The only positive note here is it'll be, ABC or ESPN, so it'll be the main mega network right after game day. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. It'll be pleasant, I'm sure, on October 24th, but it's just
maybe a little chilly.
It's just dumb, man. It's dumb. I'd never in my life would have thought LSU at Auburn, no matter what the state of the programs are, would be at that. But two first-year head coaches at these programs. I guess that's the reason you're getting an 11 a.m. kickoff. But
I was going to ask, what's the reason behind this? So I think you could make the easiest case to make is Auburn's not known what they're going to do. LSU's probably going to be decent even with the first-year Lane Kiffin. I think there's a lot of intrigue there. It's the Tiger Bowl, after all, hasn't been played in a few years.
Well, and that's my thing too, and why I went and looked up the other games that day. And it's not like there's one you're like, no, I get it. Yeah. They're pretty mediocre, but
could it be that because they have them at night games and afternoon games so often for LSU that they had to pick one, and this was the best. But it's the Tiger Bowl. Like,
well, I mean, you're giving us 3 straight early games after this, so it feels like you could have given us an afternoon game.
Yeah. So if that what like I think that's the thing that makes this so flabbergasting is that not only is it not even a window, it's just an 11 a.m. slap in the face for Auburn versus LSU.
You want
Go ahead.
one exciting thing here that I'm you're injecting hope by saying it's going to be nice on September 24th with Vanderbilt. I'll inject some hope. Let's just say that Auburn starts off the year, that first half of the year. Let's say they're 5-1.
Okay.
4-2 with a close loss to someone other than Georgia. And let's say everyone's still viewing them pretty good. People are surprised with Byron Brown. People are impressed with Alex Golesh and all things. Lane Kiffin's doing Lane Kiffin things at LSU, and they're doing well. It could be an attractive game for a national television show. And it could. I'm not saying this is why they picked 11 a.m., but if you want something to root for, maybe it'd be an attractive game day opportunity to host game day, Auburn at LSU or LSU at Auburn. And then, those early games, they make their way into the stadium for the picks. We haven't seen that before at Jordan-Hare. I'm just saying, when I saw that, that's the only thing I could think of. As I said, that would be cool, but the rest of it sucks.
Can I be honest with you, though? Just let me poke holes in your hope right now.
Certainly.
I'm pretty sure they're going to LSU or Ole Miss for LSU. Ole Miss, like, so there's already one time for LSU.
And they don't care. They'll hit them up. They'll hit them up all the time.
A third time potentially with LSU.
Oh, they are going to like Clemson, aren't they?
I think that's the case.
You're right. Well, I don't know. I mean, they haven't been to Auburn in a while.
That's true. And frankly, other than Florida, which we know they're not doing because that's when LSU Ole Miss is.
Correct.
That's probably your best case scenario because they ain't coming to the early game for Arkansas, which is the only other home game in October.
They're not coming to Sanford
either. So that's really it. So the slap in the face of the 11 a.m. kickoff, not even a window, just here's your slap in the face. And then they said, hey, here's Ole Miss at Ole Miss early. Hey, here's Arkansas early at home.
Well,
hey, here's Mississippi
honest,
State early. What's to be honest, what?
If you're going to have Ole Miss at time, I've already talked about their hydration strategies. That's probably a good time to play over there.
It's probably the case that it'll work out in our favor, but this is disgusting. This is awful. Who allowed this to happen? It ain't anybody in Auburn's corner that allowed this to happen. This is just disgusting.
It's in Birmingham.
Yeah. So there you have it.
It's
all
yucky.
The TV windows. Yeah.
It's yucky. Didn't expect to see it, but here we are.
And it doesn't, as other people have said in the Auburn content space, doesn't matter where or when you play. I hear you on that. It kind of does. I mean, it matters for the fans, but for the team, and that's what that statement means is like you just go out and play and hey, and this is maybe a chip on the shoulder type of situation, maybe where it's like if they don't think we're good enough to have some more night games, go out and prove them wrong and make them look silly for wasting that opportunity for revenue at night games. Do you have opportunity or time for the last part of the schedule news, or do we wrap up for this show? We can always push it back.
We've been putting it off, so let's just if we can just do it quickly.
Let me just talk about it this way. We'll put all the nastiness of the early games. Here's the great thing: all these early games, Austin. Now we can talk about the color, what you're supposed to wear to games now, with the context of what time it's going to be, and all of that. So.
Most of these you'll be able to go home and change after 2:00.
I knew it was going to bleed over into this. See, this is why I'm not too panicked whenever we have to hold off topics, because I know something's just going to add to it. We've been meaning to talk about this for a while now, but Auburn's color guide for fans for the home games has been officially out for a while. Here's what you got. Home game, September 12th. Versus Southern Miss. It is going to be the traditional whiteout game, or the fans wear white. Last year, for the first time, they wore in a long time the white uniforms. I don't know if they'll do that again to match. Yeah, it doesn't feel like that's
fun. Let's not do it again.
New time, new era, all that kind of stuff. But who knows? But this is what you're supposed to wear, fans. So the white. out, if you want to call it that, for Southern Miss on September 12th. September 19th, we are going to attempt in a unique one early, the Power Stripe for Florida. Now, Austin, that's interesting to me, and maybe it's because we have very similar colors with Florida, and that'll make it bleed in even more if there's actually some type of structure to all. I don't know what the thought process was, but the Power Stripe's happening for Florida. It's a choice.
It's a choice. It's always interesting to see whether they go, if this is the bowl, if it's a bowl that's horizontal, if they go this way, or vertical, if they go with the field or perpendicular to the field.
Do you have a preference?
They've done both. I don't remember which one I liked more. I think I liked the perpendicular one more. So the upper decks or like the edges are white. No, I don't remember. Whatever the one the students did the best in. With Florida though, I think they're gonna I think they'll probably do with the field, because if you do the other way, the away section will primarily be where the white should be. Look, I got it right here. No, I'm wrong.
It kind of for a second looked like it, but you're trying.
I don't know. It's interesting to see though, and I think for Florida, I like doing it early. I think it's better to do it early on, and then let people try it out, and then let them wear what they want to wear on the way down.
You will probably have more buy-in to the Power Stripe concept at the Florida game, because there's already going to be enough hype.
A lot of excitement. Yeah,
a lot of excitement for that. And my statement with anything outside of just a standard color choice is that you need to do whatever's easiest for the students, meaning don't have them split too hard, because while we've seen them be very impressive with adhering to it, they have surprised me. Let's be honest. We've all been students, and you have very few or very many concerns beyond what you're going to wear to, some of you have a lot of concerns about what you're going to wear to the game, but in terms of matching what the athletics department wants you to do. So that's probably the most unique out of all this. I'll give you the rest of the rundowns. September 26th versus Vanderbilt Fan Choice. October 24th versus LSU. Orange to bleed out their gold, I guess, a little bit. November 7th. All of these are day games, remind you. We'll be wearing navy, although it's in November, so it shouldn't be matter.
Set these out the night before, because you don't want to wake up too early next morning to get your shirt, find your shirt.
He's so bitter. And then November 21st, Sanford, the last game will be a fan choice. So you got white, Power Stripe, 2 fan choices, one at the end, and then orange and navy. To me, this is a pretty tame color option what to wear schedule for fans. We only got one crazy one in there, none of the this side, that side, all that kind of stuff. So I think everybody can probably, I know some of you, we've seen some in the comments here, don't like these type of ideas, but some people do, and it's not too crazy this year.
I don't think it's too crazy. Obviously you have one less home game, so I think that kind of takes away the chance to do one of the more unique ones. I am interested. They didn't really say about the Baylor game. I guess we're just going to treat that as a fan choice. In Mercedes-Benz, obviously you don't want to organize the tiger stripe one. Good grief. We don't want to organize something like that over there, but I'm good with this. I love orange for LSU. That feels to me like that is like the one you wear orange for. It's the all Auburn, all orange game, they used to call it. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then I always think it's good to probably have more of the fan choices, than probably less. Like you said, I think it's overblown. The people that get all in a hissy fit about it, but at the end of the day, they're not going to turn you away if you're not wearing it. Kyle doesn't abide by any of these. He's going to wear the same shirt every time. So just take it from him. You'll be all right.
Now that's not true.
When it lines up with what you were already wearing.
Well, I've been wearing the same heather gray.
Kyle wears gray, so he doesn't abide by any of them.
But so you all can find me. But I hope to maybe have a little variation to that this year. So maybe even an orange and a blue one. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But the problem's going to be, Austin, when I wear the Power Stripe and when I go to a different section, I'm going to have to change, and so that's going to be a little.
Yeah, you need a wardrobe change.
And I can't wear 3 all at the same type on a September 19th game, even at night for Florida, because that's
a reversible.
Reversible. But what about 3? You got to have a white too if you're going to go in the Power Stripe.
Well, for Power Stripe, yeah.
Just
There's also
here's
just
what I'll do. I'm gonna power stripe myself and try to
oh dear,
contort myself to only show that part when I'm in that area.
Oh dear.
Anyway, there you go.
People will find you.
They certainly will, and probably not want to see me in that type of situation. But hopefully we will see you in the particular what to wear games, and you're abiding by it if you so choose to participate in that way. That's going to do it for episode 176 for the Auburn Experience. We appreciate you sticking with us in a long one here. We had a lot to cover with a historic week in Jordan-Hare. All that to say, we want to remind you, if you want to keep up with us, me particular on E2C Network social media accounts, direct messages are open there for the most part, I believe. And then Gmail, E2CNetwork@gmail.com is a great way to get in contact with me and the network as well. Where can they find you?
Yeah, at Austin G. Scott on most things. And hope everybody has a great week and plenty to talk about and discuss in the future. But hey, we checked some things off we've been putting off, so hope you enjoyed it.
Slowly but surely, we're working our way through all the things that we've been putting off, and we'll probably be adding a bunch more next week too. So thank you for hanging out with us. 176 in the books. Until we see you again, remind you the Auburn Creed asks you to do justly, love mercy, walk humbly with God. We ask you to do the same. War Eagle.
War Eagle.